Yeah, y'all already know what it is, man. RP Entertainment Radio. And this time around, I got a special guest in the building. Man, I would say, who does it? Grim music. But I'm gonna let the boy.
Who does it?
Yeah.
You gotta swag it out, RP. You gotta let it roll with the music.
Ready. Let the people know who it is, man.
Man, it's your boy YK, man. Little Rock's own. Little Rock bred, San Diego raised, Southeast to be exact. So y'all already know what it is.
Already, man. And I'm glad that you took the opportunity to step in the booth and let us know what it is, man. Like you said, California, Little Rock. Why don't you tell us a little bit more about where your upbringing and where you from and how you came to be who you are?
But sure, say Pops made a bold decision. Say I was born here, then around about 4 years old, he moved us out to Cali or whatever, moved us out to San Diego, Southeast San Diego, Logan Avenue, Westwood, Lincoln Park area. Pretty much the hood. If you from Dago, then you already know what that is or whatever. Or if you seen it on Gangland, then that. But the area took us in. I'm talking about they embraced us. I mean, they called us country and some more stuff. We fought our way through, and hey, we still here. We still breathing. We still pushing. So they made it through all the way to my 11th grade year of high school, and then moved back down to Little Rock. Went to Mills, did my senior year down here where I met the cats that I started rapping with, where we created Grand Music. My boys, Richie B's, Player Spade, P.I., Sun Kids, Big 50, Mob Dog. So yeah, we pretty much teamed up from there.
So you didn't become a Grim until you got to the Arkansas State?
I was rapping in San Diego. My boy, my brother Stranger, Style Steve, a few other cats, Jay Sicker, Lil D. We was doing our thing too, but we weren't taking it serious, and I mean that all came with time and actually having the know-how of how it's supposed to work, trial and error.
That's what's up. So when can you tell the people when you first picked up the mic? How old was you when you decided to just spit a freestyle or write a rhyme or
freestyle? Shoot, I was probably like between elementary and middle school, somewhere around there. And that was Big Dave, my big brother. That's my blood brother. A lot of people be asking like, yeah, like who's Big Dave? And that's my blood brother. And he would come home, he'd be ready to get on a freestyle session or whatever. And he always pushed me like, hey, come on, man, let's rap, let's do this, let's do that. And I wasn't even really on it. He was the one who wanted to rap, and he wanted to do it for recreational purposes or whatever. And then I finally just caught on, and when I caught on, I was like, hey, this is what I want to do.
That's what's up. So we got to shout out to Big Dave, because if it wasn't for him, you probably wouldn't be doing what you're doing now.
Yeah, that.
So who inspired you? Who did you look up to?
And growing up, it was you had Cube. That was like my favorite rapper since he was part of NWA, and then you got Pac, who was like the most influential, and then E40, who just kept you out of trouble and everything. Then I'm Busta Rhymes, Nas, just them lyrics is something else, and plus the power of the voice behind the lyrics, and then just as far as creativity, then it was like Brother Lynch Hung and Tech Nine.
That's what's up, man. I like that. A lot of the people that you said was very diverse, and like you said, very lyrical, and you went from the Midwest to the West Coast and to the East Coast. So
I'm all about good music. Yeah, I'm all about good music.
A lot of people don't even know about that Brother Lynch rhyme. Going back.
They sleep on Brother Lynch, but that's one of the hardest artists I ever heard.
And then Tech Nine, he's still independent, but he's still doing it in a major way. So it's good that some people keep checking for the independent artists.
Yeah. I salute Tech Nine, and I'm lucky that I actually even got to do some work with Strange Music in the past. So yeah, I definitely salute Tech Nine and Strange Music, and shout out to my brother Young Bleed.
Yeah, that's what's up. So let us know about your experience working with Strange Music.
I mean, what it was, I produced this cut on Young Bleed project called Boot Up. And it was like number two on the project, which happens to be like Tech Nine's favorite cut on there. I mean, it was crazy. I did the track like down, I want to say down in Dallas, and then Bleed and Juvie, they was in the studio. I just dropped off one track. That was all I had on me because I didn't even know I was going to be doing any production that weekend. And they was like, you got any tracks available? I was like, I got one beat. And they were like, okay, well, we finna play like we got like 300 tracks available to play for Juvie and Bleed. And then we're going to see what they do from there. They called me back the next day. Like, hey, they picked your track. I'm like, wow, like one track. So that's how that worked out. But Bleed, he always was willing to work with me from the jump and everything. I'm talking about he always been real open to me and the Grand Music family and everything. I salute him on that. And like I said, Tech Nine picked it up and it worked from there. And like I said, it ended up being one of his favorite tracks. And I've met Tech Nine a while before then too, and he always been cool people too. So like I said, I salute Strange Music.
Yeah, so it seemed like you got a lot of major plugs. And one thing I noticed you said is out of 300 beats, they still picked your one. So
yeah,
my question is to you, how do you feel about that opportunity? I'm trying to see how I should word it, because some people, like a famous quote I heard is, how would you ever know if you missed a shot if you never take it? And you had that opportunity with that. Like, I only got one beat, but I'll go ahead and submit it. So what makes you have that drive to go ahead and say, let me do what I do, and let me see if I can even make it into the pipe?
Man, it was really just taking a chance, and everything worked out for the best, and that's how I know that God was in my corner on that one there, because I never in a million years thought that was gonna happen like that. Like when I dropped the track off, I was like, all right, yeah, y'all do y'all thing, and then and I went back to my hotel room, like, okay, I already know that they ain't gonna pick that one, but sure, say God had a different plan for me, and that's how that worked out.
Oh, so you basically already counted yourself out, but God always have a ram in the bush. Yeah, I salute that, man.
Yeah, most definitely.
So we can touch bases a little bit on that. Like, what is your spiritual background? And so could we hear you saying how God came through for you. So how strong is he in your influences with the music?
I mean, he's first. If you always see like the post and everything, I keep him first. It's like when I put that out there, I don't put that out there to say that I'm perfect or I'm better than the next person or anything like that. It's just to say, hey, I put some time, I put my time up, and I make sure that God is at the forefront of that. And then in return, then he looks out for me too on the things that I want and need, even if it's not really needed, but it's just a want or whatever. I try to sacrifice the things that I want the most, and in return, then he gives me the things that I want or need out of life, and that's the way that it works out, if you ask me. And it hasn't failed me. He hasn't failed me, so. I'm gonna keep him first. I mean, that's just the way I do. It's not me trying to push religion off on the next person or anything like that. It's just me letting you know what he's done for me.
Oh, that's what's up, man. Speaking on that, then, so is that the reason why you keep going so strong? Because I don't know if all the people know, so we're gonna just inform them. I want you to tell the people how long you been really in this musical grind that you've been doing, and after you do that, tell the people why you still in it as of right now.
Yeah, been recording like seriously since like around '99, and I'm talking about we started out, it was just a big collective effort and everything. My brother, he always had my back from day one. And that family support, it means a lot when you're doing music. Say, when it comes to your surroundings, a lot of people give up and quit because of the people who are around them, and they tell them, you need to find a real job, you need to do this, you need to do that. I've seen a lot of real talented people give up behind that lack of support from the family and friends. My kids support me. My brothers support me. My sisters support me. My mom, she always been there since day one, answering the house phone, saying whatever, answering the phone, saying grand music, even though it was just a house phone. It's stuff like that keeps you going and all that. And my mom, she always put the word of God in us growing up. So that, I mean, with him, everything is possible. So it's like, how could I give up on something that I believe in so much? I mean, that's just the way we were raised. And I don't have I wasn't raised to do like plan B's and plan C's and all that. Like, if it's something that you won't, go for it.
That's what's up, man. I really feel that. And I hope some people out there really understand what you're saying, because that's needed right there. Because like you said, it's in the Bible, plain as day, I can do all things, not some things, not a few things, but all.
Yeah.
Another thing,
definitely.
before I get too deep with the next question, the question of the day is, where does YK come from?
Yeah, well, that's a simple answer right there. It just stands for Young Kev or whatever. My real name Kevin for the people who don't know. So it was just Young Kev. Say my homeboys around the area when growing up, they was always, hey, what's up, Young Kev, or what up, little Kev, or whatever, because I was always the youngest one hanging out with everybody else, with all the big homies and everything. And so whenever I came around, like, yeah, what up, young kid? What up, little dude? Whatever. It was just a neighborhood thing. Nothing major. No long story behind it.
Okay, that's what's up. I wanted to ask something a little different, thinking about, because you brought back your background, and you being in California, and then especially you being in Little Rock. I want to know, how was the gang violence? Was it ever influenced to you? Was you ever around it? Did you miss that era? Because I know it was a big thing banging in Little Rock, and then some people that started right here in Cali, like with Tookie Williams and different stuff like that. So,
man, the gang, we landed like right around 85, something like that, right in the midst of like the worst part, like. Say the drugs just like crack just hit the street and all that stuff, and so it was like a whole new experience. When you seeing people walk around like zombies, you just a little kid, you don't know what's going on. Say you got shootouts going on every single night. Say you got your big homies running back and forth past your apartment. Say telling y'all lay down, get on the floor. Say drive-bys. I'm talking about, we were right in the midst of it. We grew up right in Westwood, and if you were originally from the Logan Ave and Lincoln Park area and all that, then you would know Westwood was popping way back then in the mid '80s and everything. And I'm talking about, it was a blessing that we made it up out of there, because it was death all around. It was drugs all around. Say lifetime sentences passed out, and some of my family got caught up in it. I mean, but in the most part, we did make it out. So yeah, we was right there.
So basically, are you saying you kind of just, you seen it and that's what kept you away, or?
Yeah, actually say the people, my homies from the turf, my brothers, they pretty much, they like, hey, like you gotta do something else. Say some of the cats who were like the most active out there and everything, like they would see me walking through there and like, hey, like, yeah, you ain't there, don't do this, don't do what we doing out here, shoot. Say, like, you can do better than what we doing out here. Say, you ain't gotta deal drugs, shoot people and all that. Say, like, shoot, I'm talking about A lot of my big homies, they pretty much all dead or locked up. Say my big brothers, they was out there. I'm talking about it was crazy. It was crazy, and you can actually sit back and just write a movie about all the stuff that we had to go through, and then moving from one hood to another hood and having to deal with the consequences of being in a different neighborhood and coming from another hood. It was drama all day, every day, and we still made it all the way up out of that. We made it back down here to the home turf, and we good.
So how did it feel leaving all that chaos in California and then coming to Little Rock and they basically doing the same thing that you just thought you got out?
To be honest, when I moved down here, it was for a fresh start. Say me and my brothers, we all moved down here just for a fresh start. Some of the homies moved down too. And that was the whole purpose. It was like, let's start over. Let's not do what we were doing out there in Cali, and so let's get on this business. Let's find a different way. We say not many people get second chances, especially out there and growing up in Cali, in Southern Cali. So so we took this as an opportunity because it's like, okay, nobody know us, nobody know what we've been through, nobody know what we done. Say nobody know what we capable of or whatever, so let's use it in a different way. So when I moved down and got on my music, then my brother was like, hey, that's what we need to do. He's like, if you serious about this music, then let's do the music. And the gang violence down here is different from the gang violence up there. Not saying that it was safer or anything like that, but I could see things coming from like a mile away compared to growing up in Southern Cal, where it was like, in the blink of an eye, say somebody can get their head blown off right on the side of you, and you still trying to figure out exactly how it happened. But down here, it was like it moved a little slower. Not saying that it was any less violent or whatever, but I can spot a bad situation and be like, okay, well, yeah, this ain't for me, and keep it moving.
That's what's up, man. Hey, so let's get back into the music, and like I said, I know you said basically it's high school is when you got serious. So how did you say that you got serious in high school, and then like when did Grill Music actually get started, and what is that about it? What does that really stand for?
When I was in high school, there was a contest to open up for Trick Daddy at Ugly Mike's. My big brother Eric, rest in peace. He told me, he was like, he said they got a contest going on at Ugly Mike's. You need to go ahead and enter. And I was like, I said, man, they not gonna take to no California style. He said, well, find some other cats that's from down here. He said, and form a group here, and mix y'all styles together. And he told me about the contest like on Wednesday. The contest date was like Saturday. So he told me about it Wednesday. Thursday I went to school. I got at my boy Player Spade, Brandon Walker, and I told him about the contest, and he was like, all right, let's write something. So we got to writing something, and he was like, yeah, I'm finna go get my cousin P.I. or whatever. He went and got P.I., and then P.I. was like, hey, let's get Richie B. We went and got Richie B. So this is all on Thursday. So we booked the studio time for Friday. Friday we went and laid the song down. Saturday we went to the contest and we won. And we formed a group. It was called the G Riders. And later on we evolved from G Riders to Grim, Grim, G Riders Independent Mafia, then Greatest Rappers in Music. So that's what the Grim stood for. It had two different definitions, and that's just pretty much how it went from there.
That was dope. I always thought Grim like Grim Reaper, but you made it real deep with that. I like that. So once you was in high school and you won the contest, and so you opened up for Trick Daddy. What happened after that?
Well, we performed that night. He didn't even show. Well, we still kicked it. We kicked it that night, and after that, then we was like, all right, well, let's keep this going. So we jumped in the studio on a regular. We started out recording like over at Doghouse. Rest in peace, Reggie McClellan. He was our engineer back then. We started out there. Then later on, we hooked up with Lost Tribe at the time, and that was how we met Big Keys. And they were all they all had their group, and then we had our group, so we had kind of merged together to do some work, and then we ended up recording down at T.O.'s Tyrone Oliver spot. And when we did that, then Keys, he started working with T.O. on recording, and then a little bit later on, then I started inquiring about the recording myself, and then like T.O., he was like, yeah, I'll show you this or whatever, and so he showed me the introduction to the recording part and everything. Him and Keys was working together by that time, and we went on. We started doing our own stuff from there.
So, what made you want to say, I'm kind of wanting to step behind the booth and work behind the booth instead of always working in the booth?
Probably just my ADD, not to say I don't like to sit still and just sit there and just let somebody do some work for me when I'm like, okay, I could do this work myself, and it would just look interesting. I was like, dang, like I want to do this, and sometimes it just be for the fact of inconvenience. It'd be like, okay, we working on a hot song, and then we're like, dang, it'd be cold if we could record this right now at 3 a.m. So once I got the program, then it was on from there. They showed me how to record, but I didn't really know how to mix. So it was like, okay, well, I got to figure this on out. I'm frustrated because my stuff ain't coming out sounding like Tupac's or something, so I'm doing a whole bunch of trial and error from there, and went down to Dallas, picked up some stuff from Reggie Swinton's engineers down that way too, and then from there I picked up from what T.O. and Big Keys was showing me to the stuff that Key and Jay Pinkman was showing me in Dallas, and then started reading up on different techniques, and I just put everything together and developed a mixing style from there.
That's what's up. Did any kind of schooling?
You said what?
Did you ever go to any type of schooling?
Nah, I wanted to, but I looked up those prices and I was like, nah, I'm like, so let me just try to learn what I can learn along the way. Like, I ain't really got no 20, 30, 40 racks. Say if I did, I don't know, even know if I'd be rapping.
Yeah,
but that was the mentality I had at the time and everything. But now it's like, the cats that I know that went to school for it was like, shoot, they'd come to me and ask me like, hey man, how did you get your stuff to sound like this or sound like that? And I was like, okay, well, so they know the technical side of it and everything, and me, I just go off of what my ear tells me. And that's one of the best things that any engineer could ever go by is what your ears tell you. And can't no book tell you what your ears are hearing.
No, I feel that. I actually dipped and dabbed in some schools myself, so I know exactly what you're saying.
Yeah.
So, it sound like basically you went and asked, and people gave. So, what do you feel that made people say, man, I'm gonna give him the game? Because a lot of people like, man, games to be sold, not to be told.
Trust me, it was a lot of stuff that wasn't told to me. It was like, okay, we're gonna give them the flat basics, but we're not gonna give them everything. And I appreciate that because experience is the best teacher, and that was what I needed and everything. So whether they realize it or not, that was the best thing they could have done for me. It was like, I'm gonna give you a little bit, but I'm not gonna give you everything. I'm gonna teach you what you know. I'm not gonna teach you what I know. And that was a real help though. It turned out being a bigger blessing in the long run.
That's what's up. So that kind of brought us into how you went from rapping into engineering. So, and from my understanding, you a producer as well, because in the beat
Yeah.
by YK. So,
Yeah.
so how did you get into the producing side?
Pretty much the same thing. I used to stand over Reggie McClellan's shoulder in Doghouse, and I tell him, okay, I got this beat in my head or whatever, and this ain't the hustle and flow story. So, I tell him I got this beat in my head, and I tell him how I wanted it done and everything, and it might be certain parts he can't nail, and it got to the point where I was like, all right, I just reach over to the keyboard and tap a couple keys here and there. Okay, this is what I want, and then finally it got to the point where I would have everything out in my head, and it's like, well, why don't you just play it out? And then I started, I got to just dipping and dabbling around on like a $200 Yamaha DJX, and then and once the track started sounding decent, then my boy Joe Church Jr. he came through with a $3,000 Triton at the time. He was like, hey bro, he said it's time. He said it's time for you to stop BSing and get on it. I'm like, sure. He said if you're serious about this music, then this is what you need. And it's a major blessing to have people like that in your corner who believe in you more than you believe in yourself.
Yeah, I feel that.
That's how I started on a production.
That's what's up. So, I just want to see, listening to what you hear, like you got a lot of ground roots in Arkansas, especially when it comes down to music. You got any just wild experience or stories you want to let us all know about in the music?
Oh man. The wild stories I got, they gotta stay up here. So I ain't gonna get myself or nobody else in trouble, so I'm gonna leave that at that.
I mean, that's cool. What has been doing this so long taught you?
You said what?
I said, what has doing this music so long taught you?
Man, loyalty definitely is like so underrated, so underappreciated. That's one of the biggest lessons that I learned around here, and with some people like you got people who are your friends, people who's businessmen and businesswomen, but that doesn't mean that they have to be both. If they're your friends, that don't mean that y'all got to do business, and just because y'all do business don't mean that y'all got to that y'all got to be friends either. And turning phone calls, shaking hands, getting out, touching the people and all that stuff, it goes a long way. It goes a lot further than the social media and buying promotion and all that stuff. Let these people see that you actually out here, that you want it, you hungry, and you grinding for what you believe in. Show these people that you believe in yourself and that you're investing in yourself. Because how can you expect somebody else to invest in you if you don't invest in yourself?
That's what's up, man. Just thinking about what you're saying, and we try to get into every little thing that we can because it's very interesting. But hearing what you said makes me think about a situation. You know the artist of Kendrick Lamar, I hope.
Yeah, most definitely.
Yeah, so it's like, it seemed like he dropped the verse not too long ago off the Control album. And obviously, to say the things he's saying, he obviously must believe in himself. So, what do you feel about his verse on that Control?
Well, the word itself, control. He did just that. It was like everybody wanted to debate on how good of an artist, if he's the best or if he's this or if he's that. But at the end of the day, he did exactly what he set out to do, and that was to control what you were doing. There was probably rappers who had deadlines to meet who stopped everything that they were doing just to respond to his verse, whether it was a rap or whether it was just an interview. So he stopped everything that was going on in hip hop and redirected it. That's Control. And I salute him for that verse because I always felt like it was hot. A lot of people was talking about how it really ain't that hard or whatever, but at the same time, I ain't been hearing nobody spit that on mainstream in a while. So I'm going to give him his props. I'm always give credit where credit is due. Even if you're my favorite rapper and you come with a whack verse, I'm not going to shake your hand and give you pound and all that stuff if it ain't what it's supposed to be. So yeah, Kendrick did his thing, and now the generation next to come is going to be a generation of lyricists, and that's what that is.
The thing about what you said about mainstream, so how do you feel about the mainstream music as of now? Because I notice there's a lot of good, in my opinion, good changes, but what do you feel about the mainstream music going on right now?
And I think it's about to be better than it has been since the 90s. I think this upcoming generation will finally be the second to the 90s era or whatever. And like say from your Kendricks and TDEs to your Nipsey Hussles, YGs, Problem, Joey Badass, Chance the Rapper, ASAP Mob. I'm talking about the Audio Push, HBK Gang, just it's a bunch of them out there, just a bunch of young, hungry artists and everything, and that's what it was supposed to be about anyway. It was supposed to be starving artists who also spoke for the streets. And that's what hip hop was all about at the beginning. It was supposed to be the voice of the streets, and everybody lost sight of that because they just wanted to talk about who had the flashiest cars and whatever. And now everybody got to step back in and do what it was supposed to do and all that. Yeah, and shout out to like Kevin Gates and Don Tripp and them too, because yeah, they putting on Big Crit and all them.
Yes, and it's good that the last people you mentioned, some Southern names, a lot of people don't really want to respect the South because of that, and you showing it right there that it can be done anywhere.
Yeah.
So just thinking about, like you said, all those different names you said, and then you born in Arkansas, raised in Cali, and then you back in Arkansas now. So where do you see you fit in with this music? And how would you classify yourself as an artist?
Yeah, I would never state where I'm trying to fit in, because that's the last stand out. I ain't trying to be like classified strictly as a West Coast artist or strictly as a down south artist or whatever. Just pick whatever and say I'm never gonna pick a side on that either, because it's like say Arkansas is my roots, say Cali is my heart, and I got a lot of game from the East Coast. I got a lot of game from the Midwest. Me and my brother, we've been moving all across the map too. So, like I said, it's definitely not about fitting in. Say the artists who fit in, then they got to fade out with whatever era that is that they fit in with. So, I'm always looking to stand out.
That's what's up. And we finna try to full circle a little bit, but the single that we about to play, we noticed you got a feature from Mr. Fab, like I said, and that's your Cali roots. And so I want you to talk a little bit about how is it like working with him, and who are some of the other people that's in the big leagues that you have worked with, or some of the people you even want to work with that you ain't worked with yet?
Man, I'm trying to work with everybody. I don't care who it is. I don't care what their preference is or whatever. Say I'm just trying to work, and that's what I came for. I didn't really come to make a lot of friends or anything like that. I came to do what I set out to do, and that's work on his music. I mean, yeah, definitely though. Like E40, he inspired that Trump music feel with mob music. And a lot of people won't ever give him the props for that, but he created that mob music here. And if you listen to Trump music, that's right up that alley. When it comes down to Trump music, It was a single that I was working on for my brother A.D. Mills. And he went on, he told me, he was like, hey, I can get Fab on here. I'm like, okay. I was like, well, let's do that then. If you can get Fab on here, then he hit him up. He was touring with Snoop. And in the midst of that, I figured out, like, okay, he too busy. I was like, he touring with Snoop. He called, like, hey, send me that joint. I sent him to him. He sent it back like 5-10 minutes. He's like, hey, I got a new verse already. He freestyled on it. And most people don't even know that it was a freestyle because Fab is just that nice on the mic. And he laced it up. 80 Mills. He went on, took care of everything for me. And like I said, that's my bro. That's my people. So we got it all handled, and we sat on it for a little minute too, and then we pushed it out, and the crowd accepted it. I'm talking about took it out to the West Coast, passed it out. They was trying to pay us for it and everything, and been promoting it. Shout out to Vakita Strong, Boss Chick Entertainment, because she been holding me down like since day one on this single, and it's been making a lot of connects. A lot of overseas attention that I wasn't even ready for yet, but it's happening. So, I mean, yeah, trunk music, that's what it is. It ain't nothing it ain't like, oh yeah, this is a battle or anything like that. It's just to have fun. It's like, if you ever been out to the club and you done dug in your pockets like, dang, I only got like $40-$50 or whatever, you probably done pulled out a bottle in the back seat like, hey, let's pour up in the car. And that's what that is. Like, we don't buy the bar, we do it in the car. And that's just how, yeah. So if you say that you ain't never done that, then I don't know where you been, but I'm pretty much you fine.
Nah, that's what's up, man. Hey, speaking of shout outs, man, you got any shout outs you want to do now and then? In fact, when you get done with your shout out, make sure you let the people know how they can hit you up, your contact information, everything like that.
Yeah, I got a list here, but yeah, gotta keep God first though. Yeah, we gotta give a shout out to the CEO, Big Dave, to Songstress, the beautiful Shay Marie, P.I., the real J Mac, Sunkiss, 5'9", 7 Deuce, SJ, Wax and Bold, Camo, Ma Dukes, DC Get Money NT, Yee Minx, Joe Church, Cool Father, Joey G, Dunny Macon, V-Dub, Jay Jamerson, Trisha Reed, Al Bell, Viva the Diva, JT at OnTheGrind.net. And got to give another one out to Vakita, because like I said, she been holding it down in this promotion and everything. And then my boy DJ Fatality, Green Eye Graphics, y'all better holler at him on that artwork. Dirty DJ Deja Blue, Eric Big E Dub Watkins, It's Twist, Sean, Vinny, and Delilah Hill, DJ Worm, D Dirt and Hog Leg at 88 Point Trill, Baby Boy, Candy Soul, DJ PD Beats, and Smooth the Dude with C Chops. And yeah, and RTLD Media, they've been putting in work for me since day one. Shout out to SJ again. And if you want to reach us, then you can hit us on Twitter at Grim Music. That's GRIMMUZIK. Facebook is The Real Grim Music, and we got the personal artist page, The Realest YK, and that's TheRealESTYK. Same thing for Instagram. The Facebook is It's The Realest YK, spelled out the same way. Yeah, if you're trying to reach us, you can hit us on there, or direct for booking, then it's grandmusic@gmail.com.
Yeah, I see you had a big list for real, man. I'm hearing some of them names. You seem like you work with a lot of people.
Yeah, man, you can't do it by yourself, and you a selfish dude if you sit up there all day long and talking about, yeah, I did this all by myself, didn't nobody help me, didn't nobody do this, nobody did that. Shoot, I'll be lying through my teeth. Like I said, there's plenty of days where I sit there and look at my kids and be like, you know what, I gotta get up here and go do something, because they not looking for them excuses or nothing. Shoot, if I say I'm gonna provide, then that's what I'm gonna do.
That's what's up. Man, just one more thing for couple things before we get out of here. Just hearing you say that shout out list, and then hearing you say you couldn't do this by yourself. I remember a story someone was telling me. You used to work with a guy named Fat Baby, and basically he was saying how y'all to put some things together and try to put on for the city. Can you tell us about that experience?
Hey, Fat Baby, Thurlow Cobb, hey, that's my dude right there. I'm talking about A1 since day one. That's like one of the hardest working dudes I think I ever met. Like, when I met him, he was working, I would say 3 jobs. And like, he would come over to my crib and doze off like for probably about 20, 30 minutes and then go back to work and do it all over again. And, say working on beats with him and working on songs with him. We still got tracks that never came out or whatever. Some stuff did come out, some stuff didn't. He put together this Arium tour for the independent Arkansas artists and everything for us to move around from town to town and throw our own shows and let it fund our next shows to keep the promotion going. Him and Ron Scott. And I'm talking about it was a pretty successful tour if you ask me. I'm talking about everybody had fun. We linked up. A lot of artists that didn't work with each other before started working with each other. RP, that's how I met you, was through Thurlow. So yeah, it's crazy how those connects go a long way and how being real with people it works out for you in the long run. Because like I said, me and Thurlow, we still like best friends to this day.
That's what's up, man. Hey, before I gotta get you up before we get out of here. Anytime we do an interview with anybody that do any time for music, we gotta let the people hear how they do it. So you gotta show them how you do
it. Okay, well, let me see. Since I do the production, the rapping, promotion, all type of stuff or whatever, then I done gave up the freestyle a long time ago. But I'm gonna give you this verse I was just working on with my girl Madam T out in the Bay Area. We was just working on something that's a little winded or whatever. Shit, if I get a little winded, y'all forgive me. I'm human, but I'm gonna try to nail this for you real quick. All right. Ever since I was a BG, these niggas couldn't see me. Way before I put it on the CD, I was 13 on the scene, living knee deep with my older brothers riding 3D. Hang around the big homies, got my ass beat. Now I run laps around these niggas like a track meet. Now I hit it when they clap me. When I come back with a strap, better turn into an athlete. Fume, before I take these L's, you will take these shells. Everybody in it wanna hate me. Well, American gangster, that's the life I chose. Fuck them and forget about them like my hoes. Niggas wanna try me, yeah, in my city, you might be big, but bitch, I'm Diddy. $1,000 are better than bitch, I'm with it. Talk about the mafia, but bitch, I'm in it. Won't rest till the rest of my niggas get out, better invest in the best that covers your house. Last time I checked, we were the best in the South, but it's still West. We test niggas running their mouth, you ain't about that life, better stay in the crib. Matter of fact, better lay in the crib. Before I hit you with that eagle, you be laying in the fetal position just like a baby when he lay in the crib. From the babe to the ARK. Harlem riders who let the AR spray. Politicians always trying to break our plate, cause the kids love what we think, so they send a lot of hate our way. Little Rock, if you ain't heard about me 9 times out of 9, then you probably ain't G. I grind, I rhyme, I'm slinging that D, so you better be strapped when you hanging with me, cause bitch, nigga, I'm G. That's G'd up record, man. And hey, and don't just judge a man by his music either, because if that's the deal, then you have to judge these actors by the roles that they play in these movies too. So, and that's just what it is.
Like I said, man, I appreciate all the love and support. Like I said, man, I want to wish you bigger and bigger and better success, and may you prosper in everything you touch. Man, before we get out of here, I gotta let you introduce the world. Like I said, swag it out the way you do. Man, this single we finna play right now. Man, go on and introduce the world to that, and we out of here, man.
Hey, what up, world? This is your boy YK, aka the realest YK, Grand Music representing, and this is my new single entitled Trunk Music, featuring AD Mills and Mr. Fab out the Bay Area, playing on RP Entertainment Radio. You know what it is. Let's go.